Hi, Statesmen Nation. Welcome back to Inside the Playbook for, I think this is week 13, I believe, of the year. So hopefully it's a lucky 13 for us. Once again, Jared Goodman, Justin Burtis, I'm Wade Steinloggy. We're going to get right into recapping last week's games. A lot of great stuff and some history with men's volleyball. So, Jared, I'm going to throw right over to you for men's volleyball.
Yeah, men's volleyball. First match in program history. It was a packed house, inside the Penn Activity Center. 636, I believe it was.
Yeah, 636 or 626.
Was the official attendance. So a lot of people out there, members of the community. It was really great to see them all come out and kind of come together for the inauguration of the men's volleyball program. It was a really good good outing. They ended up taking the loss 3-2, but really, I mean, they played really well. I mean, this is a team that's just about all freshmen,
right?
Going out there, and they really played well and looked like they belonged. Credit that to Coach Bentley and his coaching staff for getting these guys ready right out of high school. A lot of these guys do come from some pretty good clubs and good programs around the country. Came out well. They came out and took the first set 25-22.
To thunderous applause.
Yeah. I mean, it was rocking in there.
Yeah,
and,
it was. Great atmosphere.
Got the first point in program history. It was off a mistake, a hitting error by Clark, I believe.
Yep.
A hitting error, yes. And then from there, the first set there was 8 ties and 4 lead changes. The opening set, William Penn was able to finally pull away as they after it was tied 9-9, they rattled off 3 consecutive points, and then from there they never trailed again. Second loss went down in the second set. They lost 25-22, but then came back in the third really strong. Probably their best set of the entire match, 25-17. And then the fourth set, they had the lead. There was 19-16, and then unfortunately there was I believe it was 9-0 run or 9-1
8-0 run. Yeah.
8-0 run, and then they ended up dropping that fourth set. So really was in position to win this game.
Yeah.
Just couldn't close the door. They're going up against a Clark team that's obviously very experienced. They've been in those situations before, and when you're a young team, you learn from those. Those are good learning opportunities right there. When you have the door ready to close, you probably should
slam
close
it shut.
that. Yeah. And then the fifth and deciding set, it was close. I would say Clark kind of controlled most of that fifth set. Statesman gave it a run at the end, and then Clark put it away.
Yeah.
And eventually that resulted in a 3-2 loss, but really great outings from a few Statesmen. Ike Papes, one of the outside hitters for the Statesman team. He had 15 kills to lead the team. Carlos Garcia, I thought, really played well. He had 8 kills. Eli Harrow, he was the most efficient of the group of hitters. He had a 429, and he posted 3 solo blocks and an assist. So he was really just doing everything from the front line. CJ Reddick also playing well. He had 6 kills. Matt Helmick ran the offense, I thought, really well. He's the guy you're going to see. He's flying all over the court, it seems. I mean, they make him a point to pass him the ball, and if it's not a great pass, he's willing to put his body out there to get somebody, to set somebody. And he almost had a double-double in his very first game. He had 31 assists and 9 digs. Chris Ferry, excuse me. He had 12 digs as well, playing well on the back line, or he was actually at the libero position. And Coach Bentley, he was really proud of how his team battled that night. And for these guys being just freshmen, they really showed a lot. And I think this team can be really good if all things come together and they continue to get better as the season goes on.
Yeah. Ike Papes was, sorry to interrupt.
No, you weren't interrupting.
Yeah, no, Ike was, showed how exciting he's going to be to watch for the next 4 years. I mean, that kid can get up and put it down, and he was, obviously everybody was amped. Everybody was excited, and hence why we had, 51 combined service errors. I mean, they had 29, we had 22. I mean, that was probably the most disappointing part of it all, like that you wanted to get so amped up and be excited and have this great atmosphere to be able to feed off of, but I mean almost every third serve was in the net or long or whatever, and so that was a little tough, but it was a whole lot of fun to be around, and we're excited for the future, for knowing you got, I think 13 of the 15 guys are freshmen, and almost everybody but one was a freshman playing on Tuesday night, and the guys showed really well. I think like you said, every set, I think they probably learned something from it, and they're going to be stronger because of it. And now it's just continue to improve. I mean, okay, well now we're not going to be undefeated. Well, I'm pretty sure we knew we weren't going to be undefeated anyhow, but now it's just continuing to get better every time, and enjoy the ride along the way. But it was fun.
Yep, most definitely.
Yeah. I was just going to say it's raw. And that's what a freshman team, a new program is going to be, and that's where you get some of these errors or things. But yeah, as Jared said, you can see there is a great base there, and with a little more practice, maybe Culver Stockton, their next game isn't as good as Clark, or maybe that's a place where on the road they can find everything's out. Who knows, win or lose, whatever. But there are some winnable games for this team. I fully expect them to be much better as they roll on, really get to play longer together. And as Bentley said at some point, I think it was on when he came upstairs and talked to me, the first time they played 5 sets.
Yeah, definitely.
Competitively.
Right.
I mean, you go and practice for a couple hours, cool. But that's way different than playing a full 5-set match against another team that wants to win it more than you do, maybe, or at least the same.
Right.
Yeah, and who knows what happened in that 5th set? Unfortunately, Ike Papes went down with a injury, did not return. But who knows what would have happened in that 5th set if we would have had a guy like Ike who would really just been the guy that we can go to when we needed a point. So,
I mean, inconsistency in the end is going to be the biggest problem the team's going to have to deal with. Is just figuring out how to just do it over and over and deal with the emotions of it and everything. And they got just a lot of really good, real experience to build off of, and that's all you can ask for. And it was fun, like I said, 2 hours worth of volleyball on Tuesday night, so take it. All right, women's basketball, men's basketball, talk about next year. Unfortunately, with Mother Nature, after being extremely calm in November and December, now she's rearing her head, and we've had back-to-back Saturdays that got postponed to 2 days later, so we only got 1 game in this past week. Mount Mercy, Penn going up to Cedar Rapids on Monday, taking on Mount Mercy, and the women won 78-53, but it was by far not that pretty. You actually covered the game, so maybe you can speak a little bit better to how it looked, but statistically wise, first half really, really slow. Team trying to build off momentum from that huge Central Methodist upset, and just didn't get out of the gate well at all. Led by 2 at half, and then second half, obviously got their back ends chewed or something clicked for them, and dominated second half 50-27 for the easy win. Katie Latello made 5 threes for 23 points to lead all scorers. Bailey Reardon has, in my estimation, probably the best post finisher we ever had, and she's a freshman. I mean, the girl just knows how to put the ball in the basket, put herself in the position, and she just puts it off the glass, and it's just all smooth. She had 19 off the bench, shot 60% after the break. Again, that's anytime you shoot that well, you're going to be able to pull away from another team. And then Brenda Pennington had 9 points and 7 assists, 6 rebounds, did everything she needed to do in the point guard position. So Mount Mercy, obviously not one of the top teams in the league. We've dominated them the last few years, but you got to win these games if you're going to get yourself back in position to make nationals. You cannot lose on the road, and we were for 20 minutes looking like we could have definitely done that, but they righted the ship, figured it out. So
yeah, the first quarter or so, Mount Mercy did an excellent job. Their point guard, Sandy Mia, I believe, or Sammy. Either way, she played very, very well, ended up close to 20 points, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But what they did offensively is they kind of did a nice little low to high game where they suckered in the top corner of the zone player down, which left Peasley for a while, or whoever took her spot, or whoever was on the other side, facing a 2-on-1 when the ball kicked back out. And so she was just kind of frozen. Do I guard the person with the ball in the wing? Do I guard the person in the corner she's going to pass it to? And they made a number of opportunities count on that, and it really flustered them. But I think at the half, Coach Williamson came in, and he said, look, because he told me this pregame, he said, I don't want him to settle for 3-point shots. Kate started off each half 2 for 2 from beyond the arc, which is great.
Yeah.
But in that first half, as it rolled along, other players put it up, and they just weren't finding the shot, whether it's a new gym, different lighting, whatever, they just weren't going down. Second half, that's when they started feeding it to Reardon more. When they started going inside, making passes out, easy short jumpers.
Yeah.
That's when they really put the pedal down. They changed their defense enough, and Mount Mercy just never could get in a rhythm again.
Yeah.
And from there on, outscoring 50 to 20 something in the second half. They locked it down and played, I think, how the coaching staff wanted to play the whole game, which was really good to see.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Coach saying we can't play like that for 40 minutes. Can't have that inconsistency of bad 20, good 20, and expect to finish high in the conference as we need to do to either win it and make nationals or be at large or whatever. And fortunately we figured it out, but things to be learned from. So men's side.
Yeah, on the men's side, it was a great game down there up there in Cedar Rapids. It was a 93-89 win. Really, it was just a gritty, tough matchup. Both teams putting up good fights. Really, just a back and forth, game of runs type game. Statesmen shot 49% from the floor. They held Mount Mercy to 41% from the floor, but they did hit 20 of 51 threes. I mean, it was just crazy run and gun. Go shoot up a three, get back down and try to stop the Statesmen. But Statesmen, they had their opportunities to really pull away in this one. Couldn't quite do it because of that hot three-point shooting in the first half. At the 8:30 mark, Kamari Newman, he hit a big three that gave the Statesmen a 31-27 lead. You thought that might be the spot there that the Statesmen start to pull away, but nope. Here comes the Mustangs with a 5-0 run of their own, and they retook the lead 32-21. And then, once again, the Statesmen took the lead. And they had a 40-35 lead at the end of the first half with about 4 minutes left, and then here comes Mount Mercy, 19-7 run, and they ended up going up on the break, up 54-47.
I think they had 13 or 14 threes at that point alone. I know it was 13, maybe it was 14. So they were just really crushing the first half from deep.
Yeah, big first half from them, and then from there it was back and forth in the second half as well. Statesmen did open up their largest lead of the ball game, 75-67, 9:47 left.
Right.
Once again, you think, hey, here we go. This is where we kick it into high gear. We put up 110 points, and we put in dirt. But give credit to this Mount Mercy team. This is a Mount Mercy team that really plays well at home. They are 7-2 now, 7-3 at home, and they ended up making it close. They went on a 9-0 run and take a 76-75 lead, which is over 6 minutes running. But like we've seen time and time again this year, Statesmen, when they get in this position, they just really know how to buckle down and get a win. They just know how to finish ball games. They could be having a bad game. They didn't play bad at all in any stretch of this ball game. The coaches were very pleased with their performance. This is just a team going on the road and running into a team's best, and that's what they're going to get night in and night out, being with the big target on their back, like we always talk. And then they towards the end of the game were about 40 or 20 seconds left. What was it? We had a 6-point lead. They went down. They nailed a three, and then they ended up forcing a turnover. Am I right here?
Yep.
Yeah, forced a turnover. You were there. I wasn't there. I was sick. I was just kind of following. But they forced a turnover. They actually had a chance at a game-tying shot, but
end up turning it back
over.
Yeah, so it was kind of a crazy sequence because they got a fast break, got into their offensive end, and it's one of those where 50-50, do you let it develop? Do you call a timeout? Coach elected to take the timeout. 2 inbounds plays, 2 fouls by the Statesmen. The third one, they committed an over-the-back half-court violation, and I gave the ball back to William Penn. Chandler makes a couple free throws. They still get a chance to get a tying shot away, but it falls short.
Yeah, and so that end of the game ended 93-89, and Statesmen 11 straight now. Now 17-1 on the season, 11-1 in the heart. Kevin Blaylock he did reach a double-double after going back and checking the stats. He had 19 points and 10 rebounds. Quarnum continued to do his thing from beyond the arc. He hit a trio of threes, and he ended up with 15 points. Eddie Daly played some big minutes off the bench. I mean, he had 11 points in 14 minutes. And Faison and Hood each got theirs in double digits with 10 points. For a match, it was kind of funky, I thought. For a match that was so close, there was only 5 ties, but there was 26 lead
Oh my
changes.
gosh,
I mean, it's a bunch of 2s and 3s.
Yeah, there was. I was wondering at halftime. I was like, "This has got to be humongous in the turn of the lead change department," and it just kept going up from there.
Even worse,
and Coach Henry, reiterated. He's like, "Look, anytime you're going against a team and a team's going to make 23s on you, you're probably not going to win this game." So he's like, "We're happy to go on the road and get this win and get out of there." But it just speaks to how good this team really is. Their ability to just really finish games, and it just seems like they're able to stay a little more composed than other teams in those waning moments.
Well, and that's the last 2 games now on the road. Both times, Central Methodist and Mount Mercy had us against the ropes, and you go on the road and you figure the home team's going to pull it out. Something because of the atmosphere, the crowd's going to get them through it. But we're just been the better team and found a way in the final couple of minutes to make that 1 or 2 plays and get us over the top, and that's what you got to do. I mean, we can't win all the games by 30 points. That's not going to do us any good when we get to nationals. So that winning these tight ones, especially on the road, that's going to be really beneficial down the road, I think.
Yep, and everybody goes through them, and you just got to find a way to win.
Figure it out.
Yeah, it was a very tight game, very impressive. They changed their defense. They said at the halftime break. It really improved. They still, Mount Mercy jacked up 50-some threes and made 20-something of them or whatever it was, but they did not look as good the second half shooting the 3-ball. They either lost their mojo combined with the Statesmen change of defense. It was still a close game, but it wasn't like they were going to suddenly go on a hot streak of 12 made threes like Culver Stockton did a couple weeks ago. I thought that Malik Thomas played really well. He didn't show up a ton in the point department, but he had a couple blocks, which were key on the defensive side, really stepped up defensively, made a steal by a ball getting deflected. He ran through 2 defenders to grab it and then slammed it home. He played a lot of minutes. Maud Pender came in and did a lot of defensive work too. So it was really a well-rounded effort by everyone. It wasn't like, besides Kavion, who had close to 20, normally you see Hood with 20, Newman with 20, something like that. But it was just a really balanced team effort that got them over the line in this one.
5 players in double figures. I mean, anytime you do that, you're going to put
things
yourself
are good.
Put up a lot of
Things are
points,
good.
that's for sure. Yeah.
Sharing the ball.
Got a chance. All right, so nice outing there. Getting that doubleheader sweep against Mount Mercy, always good there. Bowling teams over in Illinois. Right?
Addison, Illinois, the Kegel ISB PA. Quick note: Jason Miner, Bailey Palmer, Players of the Month elected. So good news for them, as well as pretty good results for both teams as well. The men finished 6th. Coach Brooks was really pleased about that. There was some really top teams there, over 40, I believe, in total.
75, actually.
As I said, over 40.
It was definitely over 40, you're right.
490 individuals. St. Ambrose came away with the win at 9,492 pins. We were also over 9,941 total. So, 400 might seem like a lot, but in bowling, I think that's a lot closer since you rack up pins pretty quick. Rock Kostrick was the best statesman in this one. Finished 10th, his first top 10 of the year. Put up a new season high 1-game score of 270, which is pretty freaking impressive. Average of 223.4. He was really feeling it. His brother was not far behind him. He finished 25th, 214 average, his third top 25 of the year. Jason Miner had an average of 191.8. Logan Mason, 188.8. A couple other guys rolled just a few games to the team, but overall, pretty impressive against a number of teams, especially after they had played really well out in Vegas. This team is obviously figuring out what they need to do and hitting their stride here in 2020.
Keep on going. We'll talk about both of them together.
All right. Then the women finished 8th, also very respectable. 8,450 pens at the end of it all. And it was Gabby Evans, the freshman. This team has a couple of freshmen that are playing really well. And she just missed out on top tournament honors. Her first top 10 as a statesman, 7th overall. It's kind of weird how they divvied it up. There was an A squad and a B squad in terms of teams and where they went. And we were part of the A squad, and the B squad took longer to finish. So at first, it looks like she was going to finish top 5. A couple B squad players somehow did a little better than her. She finishes 7th overall, but still really, really good finish for her as she's starting to emerge on this team at 204, I believe that is. It might be a 9. 204.8 average. 364 players overall, so finishing 7th. Really impressive. Gifford was 37th, went 93.6. Palmer 190.8, so 3 statesmen in around that 200 range. Nicole Kraft was not far off with a 185.8, and Alexis Lake, still a freshman, has seen a little up and down, but still right there near those top 5 of the team. 178.4, a couple of pins far away. She's also into the 180s.
Yeah.
Coach Brooks seemed to me, he was happy with the result. I think the way he phrased it in his little quote for the article, I think he was expecting a little better, but still, another top 10 for this team.
Yeah.
They've done that more often than not, and again, both teams hitting expectations in the moment, verging towards exceeding them.
Yeah, definitely. I think on the men's side, they are exceeding them with just as much talent as was departed last year. They didn't really know exactly what they were going to have. They knew the Kosrick brothers were going to do well. Logan Mason's back, and then you had some other guys who were going to have to step up in new roles and stuff. And nothing against them, but they are exceeding expectations. I think at this point, the women doing what they felt like they thought the women could do with having so much talent back and so many new individuals. Yeah, they're doing really, really well, both teams. Anytime you get a top 10 at the Kegel with that many teams, it's not just like 55 schlups and 2 good teams. There's a lot of good talent there, and they're figuring it out at the right time. So I think just 2 more tournaments left, and then you got sectionals, and that's about almost a month and a half from now. But yeah, they're figuring it out. So
for sure, exciting times for them.
Just took a little bit of time, but they're getting it.
Yeah.
So
some time off will do them good, so they can rest up for those later tournaments.
Yeah, they got a couple, I think a week or so off, and then they're at McKendree. So, all right, the wrestling team, light week, again, kind of because of weather, maybe a little bit, but they just end up going only to the Missouri Valley Invite, huge tournament down there on Friday and Saturday. Small crew, again, just because of everything that we've got going on, but 48 total teams down there. We finished 38th. Joe Eads had a really good tournament, just missing placing in the top 16, 16 technically, I guess. Top 8 would have been on the podium, but he went 3 and 2, had a couple pins. 3 other individuals had a win. Just a really good tournament to figure out again where we stand amongst NAIA teams, because that was almost entirely NAIA. I think there was like 1 D2 in there, and they had probably a JV squad or something sent there. But otherwise, again, dealing with having a smaller crew, but Joe Eads has been really, really strong as of late. I think he's won 8 out of his last 10 matches, and showing that he's right there, ready to make nationals and maybe make some noise when they get there. So to finish it off with track.
Yeah, track. Both the men and the women finished 6th out of 11th in the Central Dutch Athletics Classic. So back to your old stomping grounds down in Pella. On the men's side, Tristan Elmore qualified for a national bid with a 6'9" mark in the high jump, and Sage Ehresman took home a title. Both of them took home titles. Elmore qualified for national. Sage Ehresman took home the title. He in the shot put with a 60-.45 mark. Ehresman also finished.
It was actually 50. You said 60, but it was actually 50.
50.
I caught it later. I'm like, that's not right. There's no way you do 60. You would have won nationals with that.
But he also finished in the top half, placing 4th in the 60-meter dash with a time of 7.12 seconds. We have to talk to him a little bit more about.
Yeah, talk to him later. He's just an athlete. He's a freak.
I mean,
you can throw the shot and be a sprinter
quick.
like that.
Yeah, rare breed indeed.
Yeah.
Brendan Foster, he placed 4th in the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 8.84 seconds, so good outing for him. Percy Burton also competed in the 400-meter dash and finished with a time of 56.07 seconds. That was good enough for a 5th place finish. So a lot of top 10 finishes for the men. This was a bit bigger of a
a little bit bigger than
event than it had been in the last couple of weeks. So they're starting to get guys back, starting to get guys healthier. So more of a bit larger group going out to these events. Joel Brown, he placed 5th in the 200-meter dash with a time of 23.3, and Josh Ogden, freshman. He finished 13th with 23.82 seconds. And in the 300-meter dash, Jordan McRae placed 9th, so another top 10 finish in 39.07 seconds. And then they also had a couple top 10 finishes in the long distances. Kenneth Bolton, he placed 6th with a time of 2 minutes 55 seconds, 0.11.
Whatever.
2:55.11. Sorry.
There we go.
And then William DeJesus he barely. I mean, those guys were neck and neck. They finished 6th and 7th. William DeJesus finishing with a time of 2 minutes 55-22. Sorry,
You'll figure it out eventually.
I'm losing it here. And then over on the women's side, once again, they finished 6th of 11th as well. So there was also 2 titles won, so a total of 4 titles between the 2 teams. Shelby Williams won the shot put. She recorded a distance of 41.10, and then the 4x400 relay took the crown in a time of 4:21.42. So good outing by them. That's the second consecutive weekend I think we've seen the 4x4.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Relay teams.
Yeah.
Oh.
A relay team maybe with men's
yeah,
side or
relay.
something. Yeah.
But then the freshman Shania Newby, what a start to career she's had. She placed 5th in the 60-meter dash with a time of 8.10 seconds, and then Michaela Kamek grabbed the 2nd place, finish in the 600 with a time of 1:48.01. And then the ladies' age really dominated the 300-meter dash. I mean, we had 3 top 5 finishers. Kamek paced the group with a time of 44.76. Ashley Amareji. Is that how you say that name?
I don't know.
And Raven Williams placed 4th and 5th respectively. And Elena Van Arsdale rounded out the day for the ladies as she placed 4th in the weight throw with a mark of 48.10. Coach Friesen, he was pretty pleased with the results. He's stoked that he qualified one for nationals in Elmore, which was expected at some point this season. They're still really working on getting everybody back healthy, knocking off some of the rust from break or whatever, and they'll be ready to go. And like I'm sure you'll talk to them later, and trying to just peak at the right time.
Yeah, I mean it's a long season, but a short season. You got that long break in there. I mean it's just tough to get everybody rolling early on in January, but they have to. I mean, that's just the thing. In a couple weeks we've got conference, and then there's the last chance qualifier like the week after. I mean it's over like that. So the importance of being ready after break, and they're starting to get there, and they'll probably put up even better results at the Jack Jennett tomorrow, and that'll be big because that's a huge meet. And
up at UNI, right?
Up at UNI, yeah. There's just going to be a lot of really good talent that will get pushed, and they'll probably be by far their best times of the year. I would bet at that meet. So, all right, I think that's everything for now. When we come back, we will have Coach Friesen of track and field as well as Sage Ehresman. You are inside the playbook. Hi, Statesman Nation. Welcome back as we now have head track and field coach Allen Friesen as well as senior Sage Ehresman out of Sully, Iowa. Guys, appreciate you coming in for a little while. All right, Coach, let's talk about this year. Another exciting year for both the men and women, big squads, just a lot of talent out there. Let's kind of talk about the first few weeks, maybe recapping a little bit all the way back to like the fall and, just what type of team we have this year. Both sides.
On both sides?
Yeah.
I think, the hard work that the kids put in the fall really showed in the Frigid B.
Yeah.
I mean, we ended up qualifying 4 kids right off the bat. We come back, kind of knocked the rust off a little bit at Doane at the Ward Haylett. And then last week at Dutch, the Dutch Classic, Tristan qualifies in the high jump. So I'm pretty excited. And on the women's side, they've done really well. They're just missing the qualifying marks. So we're kind of hoping now that they've had a couple weeks back that they can get back into it and we can get closer. Kayla's back healthy, so that'll help Shania, push her a little bit.
Definitely.
Both of them are really, really close together. So hopefully we can get those 2 qualified.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, you take Kayla out of the equation for a little bit with her injury, and Shania just steps in, so you got another strong sprinter there, and the throws.
Well, we
Shelby
get Elena.
are doing solid. They're obviously have to.
We can keep Shelby healthy.
Yeah.
She's got the shoulder issue, but you get Elena not to be her own worst enemy, so to speak. She, in warm-ups, she's throwing probably close to a B mark.
Yeah.
But in competition, she can't seem to get that close.
Yeah.
So she's just got to get out of her own head.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, we're close. I think we still long. I can't say long, but there's still a lot of meets
it's
left.
Just like that with
there's still a lot of meets left to get what we need done. So
yeah. Let's preview the Jack Jennett that's already tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a big field and a lot of D1s.
There's going to be a lot of schools there, a lot of good competitions. D1, Grandview will be there. A lot of schools from, Iowa will be there. It's kind of taken the place of what ISU used to do for their holiday preview back in the day. So it's become that meet. There's going to be some really good talent there. It'll be really fun. It'll be push our kids, get them all psyched up.
Right, definitely. Any expectations as far as, I know you said a few more people are healthy, and you're sending a bigger squad than you have so far this year.
It'll be about the same as the Dutch. So, looking to get some hurdlers qualified this week. Try to get Shelby qualified this week. So see how that goes. Try to get Sage to improve his mark. He's just killing it right now.
Yeah.
So I know he's eager to get out there and show his stuff against the big dogs. So,
Yeah. All right, Sage, you've been sitting there and you just got some nice compliments from Coach. Let's talk about actually rewind big time here. Came here on both football and track scholarship. Decided just to stay with track, but I guess first off, what was that decision like for you? You were. It's not like you were a schlup in football either. It was you were succeeding in that, but saying track and field is where I want to put my energy now.
Well, I was kind of forced out of football.
Yeah.
I had one too many concussions and decided to leave for my own health, my own mental health down the road.
Yeah. Right.
So track was a nice, it was somewhere that I could go where I wouldn't have to risk more injury, and somewhere that I could thrive.
Sure.
If concussions wasn't an issue, yes, I would be playing football still. I did enjoy football. I enjoyed it a lot. But I've found a love with track.
Yeah.
I've been dedicating so much time in the ring and on the track over the last 2 years that, this is what I do now.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it was really just injury that sent me over.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah.
Thanks for the clarification, because obviously SID should know these things, and I didn't. I think I did, and I forgot. But anyway, well, since then, the change and everything, obviously being able to put 100% at track and field, how much have you noticed? Just the gains and in everything. Obviously, you're just an athlete. You just have success in things, and I wouldn't say it comes naturally. Obviously, you have to work hard at it, but. Again, just coming back to how much have you improved and being able to, since you've been able to lock in on one sport?
Drastically.
Yeah.
Before I was doing two sports, I was doing both football and track. Now that I'm just doing track, we changed it a lot. Now that I have the time to put into it, we went from, especially in shot put, we went from a glide to a rotational, which, it helped me out a ton. It changed the game for me, really.
Yeah, right.
I was like maybe a top 10 conference thrower before, and now I'm an A standard, thrower. I'm highly nationally marked.
Yeah.
Athletically, I've definitely seen improvement. I'm able to recover a lot more.
Right.
I remember football just beat the body. It was just a total grind.
Yeah.
Whereas track, I can just focus on my performance, my personal performance, and recover where I need to.
Yeah, definitely. Shot versus sprints. You're like I said, you're just an athlete. You're just a natural. It just it happens. But you're one of those weird ones where Coach Friesen and I were talking about it a couple months ago, saying that you're an anomaly where you're great at both, and probably not a whole lot. I'm sure there's a few out there that have been able to qualify in both the sprints and the shot, but. If you had your choice, if you were just locked down, which one would you rather do? What would it be, I guess?
That's a tough one. You know what? They really complement each other right now. If I had my choice, I would probably stick with the throws.
Okay.
I know I'm undersized, and I have a huge disadvantage, but I do enjoy the throws. That's what I came over for. When I was doing football, I came over for the throws.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know if I would start running totally, I would have to start running a lot farther.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stick with the throws
Sure.
and the short sprints.
He's just afraid to be a 400 down the
Exactly.
I gotta run it all now.
Right.
Yeah. Talking to Coach Z about that, he's like, I can't do a a mile. He goes, that's the most I'll ever do is a mile. He goes, I don't like to run. And I'm like,
I'm on the same page with Coach C.
Do the least amount as possible. You kind of alluded to that, being undersized as a shot putter. I mean, normally you get these, I don't know exact size, but I'm thinking, 6'3", 6'4" guys that are, upper 200s. I mean, just beasts out there, and you're throwing yourself out there. You're a slot back. I mean, you were a slot back for football, and I'm sure they're like, what's little David going to do against Goliath out here?
Right.
And then you're, throwing A standard and finishing, either first or whatever. So, is that a little chip on your shoulder type thing? Like, you know what, you guys don't think anything of me, and watch me prove you wrong.
No, it is. It really is. I like coming in as the underdog. And honestly, I didn't even notice that I was all that small until I went to indoor nationals last year. Because not only were the guys all 6'3", upper 200s, but the girls were also bigger than me. Almost every single one.
Like, Sage is smaller than most of the girls here.
Yeah, so that was eye-opening to me, and that really did put a chip on my shoulder. But most of what we do is technique work, and that's kind of where I'm thriving, the technique, and then the power development with Coach Haugen and the athletic performance crew.
Yeah, definitely. Expectations, this is your senior year, you've already been at nationals, have already claimed an All-American award with the 4x1 last year, but what's the hopes for this year moving forward? I mean, obviously you want to be on a podium again, but what are you hoping for?
Yeah, I mean, the goals are really to All-American in shot put this year, specifically for indoor.
Sure.
That's the number one goal. Qualifying for the 60 as well, being a double national qualifier, being able to hold my own in the sprints.
Right.
And then in outdoor, repeating in the shot put, getting that All-American.
Yeah.
And then All-American in the 4x1 as well, kind of getting a team effort in there.
Right. So just a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'd say you're shooting for the moon, but actually it's all things that you can do, so like, why not? I mean, you're fully capable of doing it, so get after it. Coach, talk a little bit more about Sage and his importance to the entire team. I mean, obviously he dabbles in both sides there, so he's able to be a leader in a lot of things. We just talk about again his importance.
Yeah, I think Sage does a good job because he's, when we get into the field events and sprint events, the team kind of branches off, and I think Sage does a good job of kind of bridging that gap.
Right.
So he kind of brings that team, especially with the throwers and the sprinters, a little bit together. He's a good leader for the sprinters. He works hard, for Z, and he's a good leader for the throwers. I mean, the kids look up to him. They see what he does. They want, he kind of leads by example. They want to emulate him. So the hard work that he puts in is it's unfathomable how much time he puts in both, not only in the throws but in the sprints too.
Well, I mean you're talking double practices basically.
He comes early. He comes early in the morning when we can, when I can help him, which is probably about 75% of the time if I'm not too busy. But he's works on his throws 2.5 hours, and then he's up there with Z, during, in the afternoon, same thing. So he's putting in, at least 5 hours a day practicing. So, that's the kind of dedication you want in an athlete, and hopefully some of these kids see the dedication that he is putting himself through and what he's doing, not only in the throws and in the sprints, but in the weight room, and how that's paying off and what it takes to be a candidate, to be an All-American. He's fourth in indoor right now, ranked fourth in indoor. He leads the heart. I think he's 2 meters at least, somewhere a meter and a half.
Yeah.
And he's right up there in the top 6 in the 60.
Top 8 maybe.
Top 8 maybe. So, I mean, his hard work's paying off, and I think I just wish more of our kids would see what he's doing, what the time he takes, and his preparation and his dedication. Maybe we could have a lot more of those kids.
Right. I was gonna say honestly, D1 athletes have to be ashamed at how much they think everybody talks about D1, work ethic and just the time that they put in, at that level or whatever. I mean,
I would put him up against anybody,
D1 if not higher. I mean, again, because you're doing, two different things. All these throwers are not. I'm sure their coaches are like, well, because they're their size, they're not able to do it. but they're not able to also be a sprinter. So
No.
you're in that strange area there that you just can do it and do it well and take advantage of it. And
I think
it's
some of the
paying
things
off.
that he doesn't see is some of the admiration that some of the other coaches have at meets that we've gone to, especially some of the throws coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, they're truly impressed with what Sage does and how far he throws, because when he comes in, he's like, who's the mascot? What is he, a multi guy?
Right.
But he holds his own. He's always up there in the. He's won 2 out of 3 so far in our meets.
Yeah.
So he's really shown, and then I think some of the throws coaches, when he has to run and do the 60, they kind of give him a little bit of a leeway as far as getting him ready, rested, because they're really impressed with what he does.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows the respect that he's kind of getting throughout the NAIA, and especially where we go as far as the throws, especially throws coaches.
Definitely. All right. Final thing, Coach. Let's just talk about the rest of the indoor season. We'll bring it back out and outdoor, but just the expectations for the rest of the year and what we're hoping to accomplish.
Well, every year I say it. We want to win the conference title. And it just comes down to, unfortunately, it comes down to one meet, 2 days, and you got to bring your A game. So it's a matter of keeping kids healthy.
Yep.
Getting them jacked up, getting them to that point where they're peaking right at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can. I think our women's side will be far better than it has been the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm looking for our men to bump up. I mean, we had a down year last year. I'm looking for them to be a lot better this year.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Well, best of luck tomorrow. The track teams will be up in Cedar Falls. UNI Jack Janet Open. So go get them. Hopefully the weather is cooperating. I think by that point you guys
Weather's all the same in the indoors.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't change. Yeah, it's all bad. So
We just got to get there.
Get it in. So once again, Coach Friesen as well as Sage Ehresman, senior out of Sully, Iowa. Thanks again, guys. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Welcome back, Statesman Nation. We're going to preview all of the games for this upcoming week, beginning with basketball. Last night we would have had games, but that would have been part of it earlier in the show. But again, Mother Nature, stepping in there. So at this point, just 2 doubleheaders for basketball coming up this next week. Hopefully everybody's pretty rested, so should be ready to go. Only had a few games as of late. But Benedictine down in Atchison, Kansas on Saturday. The women will be taking on a Ravens team that is also receiving votes, but actually they just got clipped last night by, that's very much a rivalry game against Baker. But Baker's not a good team, or hasn't been so far this year. So again, rivalry game, you throw out the records out the window. But they lost, so they're probably a little hurt about that, and they're going to be looking to play a lot better, and they're going to be looking to avenge a pretty bad loss to us back in November. We came away 84-58 then, so this is where we start the second half of the league slate now, and it starts really viciously for the ladies. I mean, they would have had Mid-American Nazarene last night. They got Benedictine. They have a easier game against Graceland, but then you still have Clark and I think Evangel, and then that's Grandview, and these are all teams that are right there in the mix
And
of being
eventually
top
you're going to have to
4,
make
top
up
5.
that Mid-America game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-America game's way down in February
February.
now, so that actually works out that at the end of the year it's a lot lighter schedule for the ladies, so that one works out. But I mean, this is one of the tough games, and on the road, it'd be nice to get the season sweep and just keep yourself one game out of first. That's where we're at right now. So I don't know. We'll just see what the ladies can do. Hopefully, come away with some big shots, some big defense, get another win. Then you got Graceland on Monday. Win you just have to have. This is the Graceland team that I think they're over in the conference right now. So, dwelling down in the cellar, we beat them 100-79 in December. Again, if you're going to go to nationals, you got to beat these teams. And it's not I remember them not being that bad of a team, considering what their record is. I don't remember. They gave us a pretty good fight and putting up 79 points. They've got some offensive talent, so we're going to have to play hard in Lamona on Monday as well. Talk about the men's side.
Over
of
on the
those
game, over on the guys' side, same schedule. Benedictine the reigning conference champs, I believe, right?
Yep.
They're they're a little bit down this year. They're coming in to the season 10-9, or coming into this game, 10-9 overall, 8-5 in the heart. So definitely not the same Benedictine team as last year, but the Statesmen can't get caught in that. It's a long road trip. Got to get down there.
Definitely.
Got to perform and just find a way to win like they've been doing. And then, Tuesday going to Grayson, or is it Monday going to Graceland? Graceland's, you said it, same story as on the guys' side. When you got to have 7-12 overall, 4-9 in the heart, but
they've been scuffling a lot lately because they were a lot better, I thought.
Yeah,
I think there was higher expectations for them, and they're one of the worst teams in the conference right now. But it doesn't mean that they can't step up.
Yeah, and they have some good athletes over there. There's some guys that can size up a little bit, but I don't see either of these teams really being a problem for the Statesmen if they just come out and play their brand of basketball, take care of the basketball, which is something they haven't done particularly well. But when you're playing in this style of offense, it's going to happen.
Have mistakes.
Really just finding a way to win, especially at this point in the year. You don't really want to peak this time of year per se, but you just want to find ways to get wins any way you can get them, and then
You already have a 3-game lead in the conference, so that's not a foregone conclusion that we're going to win it, but you got a big lead with 11 games left. Now it's just taking care of business, and really the bigger outlook
looking at
is
the little bit bigger picture.
Let's see if we can get a number 1 seed for the national tournament, make the road down to Kansas City a heck of a lot easier. But this is where you just got to keep on trucking along. So
yeah, and I think, as we said in the review, finding different ways to win. Because at home, when you just put the pedal down, you're up by 24 for 8/10 of the game or something like that. That's a lot different than when you start taking on teams that all of a sudden are top of their conference, or because you're going to get schools like Vanguard last year. Like, they're a really good defensive team. Now, you guys shot the ball really well and put them away, but still, that's a different sight to see than what you're used to at home running stuff. And it's on the road in a bigger building where the hoops aren't framed by the back of the gym. There's seats and people and everything. Finding different ways to win will really pay off for them down the stretch.
Yeah, and they're fully capable of doing it now. It's just making sure that the second time around they don't trip up. They continue to play hard. So bowling's off, correct?
We're good.
Yeah, we're done. Okay, I'll talk about wrestling. You can finish up with men's volleyball. Wrestling, number 1 Grandview comes to town tomorrow. Let's be honest, that's not going to be easy. Nothing about that will be easy. Hopefully we can just steal a win or two. There's no grand illusions of that we're going to pull off the upset there. But let's see if we can get a couple wins and just build towards the next time out, all of that. Next time out, I still have it on the schedule as the Loris Open the next day on Saturday, one of the final tournaments of the year. So again, another preparation for getting ready for conference in about a month from now. So hopefully the guys can get a little healthier, and Joe Eads can continue wrestling well. Some other people can step up and get themselves in position to possibly qualify. So
yep, absolutely. And then men's volleyball tonight, take on Culver Stockton down in Canton, Missouri. Culver Stockton, they're 0-3, but can't take them lightly.
But they were all against top 10 teams.
Yeah, all against top 3 teams now, I believe. I
thought it was somewhere in the top 10, but either way, you could be right.
Yeah, so all against top 10 teams at the very least. I mean, those are some quality teams they played against. Didn't manage to even take a set from any of those teams, but I don't think they went into those really excited. They just wanted to play the best of the best and see where they stacked up. See if the men can come back and get a win tonight. Obviously, they'll be out without the services of Ike Papes, unfortunately, but another opportunity for one of these young bucks to step up to the plate and get their feet wet in the college setting. And I was talking to Coach Bentley earlier. He was pretty excited. He said that Culver Stockton plays a very similar style to Clark. On tape they look pretty similar, so he feels that we can definitely compete with them. Hopefully get that first win. And then Tuesday against Graceland. Graceland's 2-1 on the season. They played Concordia, Illinois, and Trine University. Those are 2 wins on the season. So
I think it's another team that they're not. You got Grandview at number 1, and then you got Mount Mercy's a pretty solid team, and then the rest of the conference is kind of wherever.
Beat up on each other.
Yeah, and I think this is a Graceland team that's going to be a lot like Culver Stockton and Clark, that definitely beatable, and it just be nice to just get one early, and then get that monkey off the back, and then you can worry about other things, but not worry about let's just not go
Yeah, I mean, there's
Over.
really not much to say other than, hey, this entire beginning part of the season, at least first few games, is really just a learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
Figuring who you are.
yeah, figuring who we are, and for us too, figuring out what this team's going to be like,
Yep.
who's going to step up, who's going to be, that sort of thing. So yeah.
That's why it'll be kind of exciting to a point to have that Ike's out. Somebody else needs to step up, and who's going to do it? Who can
It
be?
sounds like, talking to Coach Bentley earlier, it's going to be a Knox George's freshman. He came in and brought a little bit of energy last game. Was real excited. You could tell he brought a lot of excitement and energy in there, and really quick kid. So yeah.
Alrighty, I think that's everything.
Track and field.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We just talked about it.
We've
with
been kind of
Coach.
more or less talking about the Jack Jennett.
The Jack Jennett big meet for them. Like you said, we'd like to really see the all the
Personal
participants,
best and all that.
step up and see where we compete against some of the best of the best.
Right. Well, then I think you have the Grandview Field meet.
Oh yeah, the Grandview Field meet. Yes, that is
so just
next
all
Tuesday.
All throws and jumps is all they do. They host that, and it's a pretty small meet. In the past, I think it's just been us and them. There might be a few other schools, but it's just a little thing, and kind of a midweek, which is weird, but that's why it's a smaller situation. But maybe another opportunity that Grandview's got really good throws and might see where like a person like Sage or Shelby or Elena fit in and how they stack up against Grandview's top throwers and where they'd be in the league and stuff. So it's a good opportunity there. So alrighty. And we got a bunch of stuff coming up down the pipe. Before we know, we're talking about baseball, which will be next week. We'll talk about baseball already.
Baseball, softball, lacrosse are taking their team pictures. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together for sure. So, all right. Well, until next week, hopefully, again, Mother Nature will, be nice to us, and we'll get all of our games in. Have a full docket for next week. But until then, everything William Penn Athletics will be on StatesmenAthletics.com. For Jared and Justin, I'm Wade. Go Statesmen.
Peace.